Okay, let's just dive right in. When you really boil it down, there are pretty much two kinds of people in this world. You've got the person who's just surrounded by ideas, kind of lost in thought, and then you have the person who's got their hands on the tools, actually building something real. Look, this isn't just about your personality type. It's a choice, a fundamental choice that every single one of us has to make.
So I gotta ask you, right here, right now, which one are you? Are you the talker? The one with all the brilliant plans, the endless conversations about what could be? Or are you the builder, the one who's actually turning those plans into something you can see and touch? This is way more than just a simple question. It's really an identity check, and it's gonna shape everything you do from this point on.
So let's break this down. What does it really mean? Well, the talker, they're all about ideas. But those ideas, they usually come with a side of excuses, right? And that just leaves them stuck. The builder, on the other hand, lives by three simple words: execution, consistency, and results. And here's the kicker, the most important part. You get to choose which one of these people you're gonna be every single day.
Okay, so you've made the choice. You want to be a builder. How do you stay in that zone? Well, it's all about what you're feeding your mind. Think about the music you listen to, the content you watch. It's not just background noise, It can literally become your personal anthem, reinforcing who you are and pushing you to keep going. And this is what we mean by content is fuel. It's about being deliberate. It's about no longer just passively scrolling or listening to pass the time. Instead, you start using that content to power your ambition. For a builder, the right song or podcast, that's not a distraction. It's a shot of adrenaline, a reminder of the mission. It is pure fuel for your fire. And here's where it gets really interesting. That same fuel affects people in totally different ways. A talker might hear a motivational speech and actually feel, kind of depressed, because it just shines a spotlight on everything they haven't done. But a builder, they hear that same message and feel a jolt of energy. And that's the whole point. This kind of content is actually a filter. It's designed to push away the talkers and pull the builders in closer. Now let's talk about a feeling I think a lot of us know. That Sunday night dread, that heart attack Monday feeling. Where does that really come from? Honestly, it's usually the direct result of a week spent talking, planning, but not actually doing. It's the emotional bill that comes due when you're trapped in inaction. And this leads to a question that really just cuts right to the chase. When things get hard, when you hit a roadblock, are you making adjustments or are you making excuses? Your honest answer to that question tells you everything you need to know about which path you're on right now. So this is what it feels like to be stuck in talker mode. You're just paralyzed by not doing anything. You talk a great game, you listen to all the motivational stuff, but it just leaves you feeling more trapped. It reminds you of that huge gap between where you are and where you want to be. If this feels familiar, that's a huge sign that something has to change. So how do we get out of that trap? How do we finally kill that heart attack Monday feeling for good? We do it by adopting the builder's mindset. It's a complete shift, right? From trying to just survive the week to actively designing the week you actually want to have. And that whole design process, it starts right now. And here's the cause and effect, plain and simple. What you do today, what we'll call Action-Taking Thursday, directly builds the kind of Monday you're going to have. A Thursday full of excuses, that leads to a Monday full of stress. But a Thursday full of action, that creates a Monday that's calm, focused, and rewarding. It's a simple formula. Today's action builds tomorrow's peace. So here it is. The power to change your whole week is in your hands right now. You are not a victim of your calendar. By taking those small, consistent actions today, you are literally architecting a better future for yourself. You can actually get to a place where you look forward to Mondays. Imagine that. Okay, this is where the game completely changes. See, being a builder today comes with a massive, almost unfair advantage. Modern tools. It's not just about working hard anymore, it's about working smart. It's about leverage. And the biggest piece of leverage on the planet right now, it's AI. This quote, man, it just nails what's happening right now. AI is creating these unbelievable opportunities for people who jump on board. But at the same time, it's creating a huge gap for those who don't. It's going to provide for the builders, and it's going to divide them from everyone else. And you can see that divide right here. Builders who use AI as a tool get insane leverage. They can brainstorm, create content, scale their work faster than ever. But the people who ignore it, they're not just standing still. They are actively falling behind as that gap gets wider every single day. It's not just about AI, though. The other secret weapon for builders is understanding the science of attention. In this world of endless scrolling, getting someone to stop and listen, that's not luck. It's a skill. It's a science. And builders are learning the formula.
I mean, just look at this headline. It's a perfect hook. It tells a whole story in one sentence and just fires off a dozen questions in your head. Why'd he quit? What's with the 22 acres? And how in the world did AI bring him back? You can't help it. You have to know the rest of the story.
And here's why that works so well. It's not magic, it's psychology. It starts with that high contrast, tech life versus farm life. That creates curiosity and a ton of story tension. And all of it opens what we call a story loop in your brain. And your brain hates open loops. You have this deep psychological need to close it, to find out what happened next.
So once you've nailed the hook and you've grabbed that attention, you get something incredibly valuable: traffic. And let's just be real for a second. In the digital world, traffic's the lifeblood. Without people paying attention to what you're building, you don't really have a business.
And here's how that works. It's a straight line. It's simple. Traffic gets you visibility. Visibility creates opportunity. The opportunity to sell, to connect, to make an impact. And capitalizing on those opportunities, well, that's what creates income. All right, we've talked about the mindset, we've talked about the traps, we've talked about the tools. Now comes the most important part, your first build. This is where we stop talking and we start doing. This is the exact moment you go from being a talker to becoming a builder. And here's a really powerful next level idea for you. The end game isn't just creating stuff for other platforms. The real goal is to build your own platform, your own content hub, your own newsfeed where you control everything and you own the traffic. Now that is the ultimate builder's play. So here it is, your action plan. It's simple, it's direct. Number 1, decide. Make a conscious choice right now to be a builder. 2, take one real action today to prove it to yourself. No more excuses. 3, go find a powerful hook and practice rewriting it for your own thing. 4, fire up an AI tool and generate 5 new content ideas. And 5, start thinking about how you're going to build your own traffic system. And that brings us right back to the beginning. We've laid out the 2 paths, the tools, the plan. The only thing missing now is you. The only variable left is your action. So the final question isn't for me. It's for you. What will you build today?
On January 1st, the world will experience something unlike anything. It is the day the Hustleverse officially makes its debut. Welcome to the Hustleverse will be the first installment of the greatest collection of edutainment music to ever be created for the Hustleverse, and your first opportunity to get access to a movement designed to inspire, motivate, and fuel real hustlers. 2026 Album of the Year has arrived, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Everybody got a speech. Everybody got a quote. But when it's time to lift something heavy, that's when you see who's real. Talkers and builders. It's talkers and builders. Same room, different mission. One sell a dream with a smile. One bring tools for the fix. One love the sound of success. One love the word when it's missing. So I move with the builders, cause the fruit tell the difference. I seen them type facts, then they vanish when it's action. Whole timeline full of hype but no traction. They know every saying, every caption, every line, but can't produce one result if you give them the time. They'll debate you for hours, try to win with a phrase, while a builder take 10 minutes and change his whole day. I ain't mad at talking, words can spark a flame, but if it don't turn to work, it's just smoke with a name. I come come from where the block had to share. If one guy to play, we made room at the chair. Now I watch these lone wolf types bragging online. Hold back in they bio, but they die on that grind. So I built me a system, put a map in the dirt. Cause the truth ain't loud, it's consistent at work. If you can't carry bricks, don't call it love. I'm building a legacy, not a comment club. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. One sell a dream with a smile. One bring tools for the fixing. One love the sound of success. One love the word when it's missing. So I move with the builders, yeah. Cause the fruit tell the difference, yeah. I used to take it personal, like why they don't support. Then I learned most folks clapping got no strength to live more, yeah. They tired from their own stones, they drowning in their own doubt. So they cheer for a second, then disappear when you're out. Hey, but I still keep receipts, cause patterns don't lie. If you only show up when it's easy, you not mine. See, a builder ain't perfect, builder bruising still here. Builder shaky some days, but he faithful to fear. Builder asks for the blueprint, not the gossip, not the tea. Builder say, show me steps, not tell me what to believe. Talker love being seen, camera hungry, ego fed. Builder love being solid, hands dirty, goes ahead. Talker chase validation like a drug in the night. Builder chase elevation, turn pain into a light. So when I pick my circle, I ain't picking by fame, I'm picking by effort. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. Different mission. One sell a dream with a smile. One bring tools for the fixes. One love to work when it's missed. One move with the builders. Decision day, yeah, that fork in the road. Either stay in the crowd or commit to the code. Cause legacy get messy when your message ain't clear. They'll fight over who you were in a race while you're here. So I speak with precision, no fog in my tone. Who I am, what I do, what I'm building, set in stone. I'm building with believers, not browsers on the fence. Cause I like what you're doing, ain't the same as investment. Some can share a link, but can they help you build? Can they hold you accountable when you're ready to quit? Can they tell you the truth when your feelings get loud? Can they stay 10 toes when the wave hit the crowd? That's a builder. Someone solid when the spotlight gone. Someone playing with you daily till the harvest long. So if you want the freedom, bring discipline too. Cause the talk feel good, but the build pull you through. Yeah. Talkers make noise, builders make history. Choose who you are, and choose who you build with.
The spirit that ran out of time. Spirit Airlines, a company that carried millions of people through the sky. And just like that, it's gone. For years, Spirit grew fast. Bright yellow planes, cheap flights, a brand people joked about, but still depended on. And behind those planes were 17,000 real people. Moms, dads, students, dreamers, who believed they had time, who believed they had security, who believed their job would always be there tomorrow. Until one day, it wasn't. Most people think they have forever to start living their dreams, forever to build something of their own, forever to get serious about their future. But Spirit's shutdown is a grave reminder. Even the things that look stable can suddenly disappear overnight. 17,000 people woke up to a new reality, not because they weren't good workers, but because the world changed faster than they did. Your dreams, your goals, your financial freedom, they can't wait for someday. They can't depend on a company logo. They can't depend on a paycheck someone else controls. If you've been waiting for a sign to start your online business, to build something that belongs to you, To create income that no one can take away, this is it. Spirit Airlines may be gone, but your spirit, your future, your opportunity, that's still in your hands.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepare was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is strong 47, day 1, and we are right at 17 minutes into today's challenge. And let's go ahead and peel back the curtain. Let's peel back the curtain. And I want to expose to you, as usual, on a consistent basis, the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge document, the most valuable document in all of online marketing. This document right here will lead you to places that you might not have ever thought that you can go to. And it's been leading me to places that I never imagined for the last 47 strong weeks, right? So this document is responsible for so many major developments. It's responsible for me starting on a newly re-energized journey, right? See, even though I started about 15 years ago, you know, it the industry itself changed, things evolved. I got involved with different aspects of the business. I transitioned from being a network marketer or multi-level marketer, and I transitioned to becoming a resolution specialist. That's the term that I have for myself. That's what I consider myself to be, right? But of course, we generalize things to specific terms that are more well known. So we call ourselves affiliate marketers, and some people call themselves digital marketers. I even consider myself to be a content creator because that's the main focus or the main job in my business is to, create content and also to communicate with my audience on a daily basis, like I do with you guys on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. EST time. And I provide what I call edutainment on a daily basis, something unlike what you'll find anywhere else. And I'm proud of that. And I'm excited. I didn't start out by saying how excited I was, so I gotta tell you guys how excited I am as usual. I'm excited because last Friday, Freedom Friday, was, the start of a new journey for me and our Hustleverse. Within our community, there's a lot of things that you can do. We can use specific tools that I share with you guys on a daily basis to build whatever it is that we want. I focus on this document here being the most valuable document in all of online marketing, right? And it has a lot of great tools here that you can use in order to help you build whatever it is that you want to build. It has some edutainment elements here that you won't find anywhere else. We do things that's fun. We have the ability to create thought provoking, inspirational, motivational music, and overall content. So hopefully, the intro that we provide to you on a daily basis, hopefully that inspires you and motivates you to get started on a journey that you might not have thought was possible. And hopefully, once when you get started on that journey, you decide to become a builder. Now, I was watching that intro training from one of my favorite business partners, the AI, right? And it goes in line with everything that we do here. And as you can see, the theme was consistent with the intro theme, talkers and builders. And Friday, I became even more of a builder. Now, I've been a builder for years. I've been putting in that work. I haven't been, just sitting around talking, saying, you know, what I want to do and what I can do and what it's going to be and how it's going to look. I've actually been putting in the work. I've been building. So whether you've seen it, whether you've been paying attention, you know, I still put in the work when the lights go out. So when no one's looking, I'm building. And when they're looking, I'm usually sharing what it is that I've built. So Friday, I created what I would consider to be one of my first webinars, one of my first master classes. Now, I've created so many trainings before, but this one was special because I actually decided to do it live, to create a master class and go through the process live. And I'm proud of it. It makes me so excited. And it's something that I will be focusing on and sharing with you guys for a little while now. Now, I want to focus on that particular training because it provides you with what I provide you with on a daily basis. It provides you with a blueprint, kind of like this document here. It provides you with something that's universal, something that you can use and apply to just about anything that you want to apply it to. So it's something that we can consider to be evergreen, something that works today, that will work tomorrow, and that will work for months and years to come. So another reason why I'm proud of it is because of this. There's so many things that I've learned about this industry. And as the industry changes and as things keep moving and people have short attention spans, I learned to appreciate being able to stay still, being able to focus, being able to have a sense of, you know, extended attention span. Me, myself, I can sit and watch something and take my time with it. I can watch a half an hour show. I can watch an hour-long show. I could watch a 2-hour-long movie. I can watch a 3-hour-long training. But a lot of people, they don't have the patience. They don't have the ability to sit still. Now more than ever, a lot of people have undiagnosed conditions, things that they're not really aware of or that, nobody's ever told them that, hey, you got a little problem. You can't sit still long enough to get the information that you want. You have what we call shiny object syndrome. You keep jumping from one thing to another. You have a hearing problem. You listen, but no. Other way around, basically. You hear, but you don't listen. So somebody can tell you something repeatedly over and over, and you're like, yeah, I hear you. Somebody can say, hey, I'm telling you to do this, and I'm telling you not to do that. But you still find a habit of not listening. And that's what I want to try to help a lot of you break the mold of. I want to help you break out of that mindset, because mindset is the only thing that's going to determine whether or not you're able to become successful within this industry. So your mindset has to be that you're going to stop doing all that talking and start becoming more of a builder. And you're going to start being a focused builder. And you're going to stop looking for shiny objects. You're going to start getting more laser focused. And you're going to start developing a stronger attention span. You're not going to be so attracted to, you know, 4-second scenes or 3-second scenes, flashing from one scene to another, to another, to another, constantly feeling like you need to be stimulated in such a way that, you know, constantly is grabbing at your attention or pulling you in from one direction to another. I want you to be able to sit and be focused. And that's part of the reason why I'm excited, because I gave you guys in that masterclass that I created, I gave you 3 hours of edutainment. And for a lot of people, they might say to themselves, man, 3 hours. I can't sit for 3 hours. I can't, that's too long. That's too much time. I can't do it. Well, for those people, all I have to say is this: life is going to give you a journey, and it's not going to last just 10 seconds. Life is going to give you a journey that's going to last for years. So every day that you go through this journey, it's, 24 hours in every day. That's a long time. You can make it drag on, or you can try to rush through it by distracting yourself with different things. But the fact of the matter is, it's 24 hours. You're going to have to live that time frame day after day after day, year after year after year. And hopefully, I'm hoping for you that you get at least a good 80, 90 years out of it. And that's a long time. But it's an even longer time when you think about you being in a position where you're not really satisfied. You're not happy. You're not living the life that you want. You're living someone else's dream. You're doing things that under normal circumstances you wouldn't want to do. And if you had the ability to control it and change it, you would do something different. Now, with that perspective, with that mindset, you should be looking at those 80 plus years. 80 years as compared to 3 hours. 3 hours is nothing. 3 hours of your 80 years of life being able to help you identify what it is that you need to do, the changes that you need to make, the mindset that you need to have, so that you can make, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, so that you can make the next 40, 50, 60 years look like something that you really want to live through. So that's what I'm offering you. And I think about the people that go to college, people that's going to high school, people that go to work on a daily basis. You spend 8+ hours a day in a lot of cases doing the same mundane work and having to do it over and over and over and over again. Yeah, you might complain about it, but you still do it anyway, because you know it's necessary. It's going to get you what it is that you want in a lot of cases. So with what I have to offer you, I want to be able to provide you with this exclusive masterclass that I created, that I know is so valuable for the right person, that they are going to thank me for allowing them the opportunity to spend 3 hours of their life in order to get this information that I have for them. So today, I don't want to keep you guys too long because I have a lot of work that I want to do. I have more things in the works. I'm building and building and building more and more and more on a daily basis so that I'm fully loaded. So that once when it's time to release the things that I have to offer, once when it's time for you to, take action and then get to the point where you need this, that, and the third, this tool. You need this bit of information. You need this new idea, this new concept, this new mindset shift. I'll be there ahead of that need as a resolution specialist. So it's my job in order to see what's going to happen in the future, to see it before you actually run into it, right? So that I can, interrupt that possible tragic situation that could occur for you, just like what has occurred for, over 17,000 people, as mentioned in that intro video. So I did a video talking about, Spirit Airline, the closure of Spirit Airline after being in business for over, I believe, 33 years. People thought it was going to be around, and then they woke up to a surprise. And even as recent as this morning, I'm watching the news and they're talking about the closure. And they're bringing up extra points, extra things that, a lot of people don't really consider. A lot of people don't think about. So all of the people that lost their job, some lost it, it came by surprise. Some people, they paid attention to the news. They've been watching the news and keeping up with the updates for the last week, 2 weeks, or longer, and they've heard the rumbles of what's going on with Spirit Airline. The fact that they've already been through 2 bankruptcies. And now they were thinking about, hey, this is it. We're closing up. Some people, they prepared themselves. They didn't just talk about, hey, well, the companies sound like the company might be going out of business, it might be about time to leave. Then they wait the next day and they have the same conversation that they continue to talk about, the situation that the company is in. And then within that talk, they start to build a false sense of hope, hoping that the company is going to do something to, stay afloat. The company is going to do something to avoid closure. And that individual or those individuals, they decide to never build anything for themselves. They decide to never be an action taker. And then they wake up one morning to the news. So it said that Spirit Airline actually announced their closure at 3 a.m. So more than likely, a lot of those people, they were in their bed sleep. They say things often happen in the midst of the night, in the heat of the night. Things happen and people slip out like a thief in the night, right? So all of these references we've heard of. So it's kind of interesting to me that they would have made their announcement at 3 a.m. in the midst of the night, before sunrise, while it's still dark. Now, in a lot of cultures, they call 3 a.m. like the witching hour. That's when, evil spirits and stuff like that is at its highest point. That's interesting. But what was also interesting was I'm listening to the news this morning and they're telling stories of individuals, for example, like pilots who were scheduled to have flights and then finding out that their flights is canceled. And then they talked about one particular pilot who was scheduled to go on his final retirement flight. So he was, about to retire anyway, but this was about to be his last flight, and that flight was canceled. So he ended up going on another flight with a different airline. And they still were able to celebrate him, give him like a retirement celebration. So he cut out at the right time. So timing is everything. It talked about so many other people, like the employees that, you know, were shocked, that woke up to a surprise. People were crying, they couldn't believe it. And then they talk about the customers, all of the customers that, might have started their journey, was going on the trip. You know, they end up getting to their destination, and now it's time for them to come back home. And their flights is canceled. And now they're stuck, they're stranded. They don't have a way of getting back home unless they get on another flight with another airline. And this is a whole other extended story, but this is how things go. Those other airlines, they're looking at an opportunity. They're looking at an opportunity to, take advantage of the situation. So they're looking at how they can, charge these people more money in order to help them get back home. Because now there's a big problem. There's a big problem. And these other airlines, they are solution finders, right? So they're looking to find solutions. So in a way that they're trying to help, they're doing what they can. They can't, it's not like the online world where somebody creates something great and then, somebody has a problem. Somebody says, hey, I want to build an online business. And then they start looking for stuff saying, can you give it to me for free? No, it doesn't work that way. These other companies aren't going to give you a free flight back home just because you're in a needy situation. Stuff happens all the time. Things happen all the time. But that doesn't mean that they have to sacrifice and not get what they're supposed to get just because a bad situation occurred with you. So these people, these airlines, they're going to make a lot more money now going forward, possibly. And that's something worth keeping an eye out on. If you notice that the cost of your flights start to go up, well, it could be because the industry no longer has the spirit. So today, I just want to jump real quick into another story that I came across. And I restarted my laptop, so I actually lost the page in particular that I was looking at. So I had to, search it up again. And this is one of the stories that I came across. But it's the story of what's going on with a lot of companies. So this one right here, a major company, Microsoft. So it says Microsoft and Meta cut thousands as AI spending rises. So here's the key takeaway. Mass layoffs. Meta will cut around 8,000 jobs. It's 10% of workforce and leave 6,000 vacancies unfilled. Microsoft may reduce 8,750 U.S. employees, 7%, via voluntary redundancy. So on one hand, they're cutting 8,000, and then it leaves 6,000 vacancies unfilled. Well, I don't believe it'll be unfilled for long, right? That's where all of the investment into AI is coming into place, right? AI, a tool, something that can do the job of hundreds or even thousands, right? It's poised and ready. Now it says here, rising AI costs. Meta's AI spending projected to exceed 160 billion by 2026. That we in 2026 now. Driven by competition for skilled specialists in data center expenses. So, one of the most profitable industries or businesses that's going to arise out of this AI boom is something that, I'm not sure if you can directly take part in as of right now, but maybe sometime in the future. But one of the most valuable positions or jobs or industries that's going to be flourishing and getting even bigger is this right here: data centers. So, depending on where you live in the world, if you're here in the United States, depending on what state you live in, you could be finding it that there's a lot of data centers being, built around your community. There's a lot of, you know, changes in your utility usage. Hmm. A lot of people are experiencing that. Let me ask you this: has the cost of your water bill started to rise and you just don't know why? Has your electric bill started to go up and you don't know why? Well, it could be due to there being a data center somewhere close by in your neighborhood. And the issue is just going to grow more and more and more. Because with the rise of AI comes the rise of so many other industries. And with the rise of those industries becomes, it becomes clearer that it's going to lead to the reduction in a lot of other industries, particularly the workforce industry. So 10% of a workforce from one company being cut, that's that's a lot. 10% is a lot. But it's kind of like time, right? You might say, well, 10%, you know, that's not a lot when you think about 100%, right? 10%, that's not a lot. But then when you think about all of the companies that might follow suit, 10% from one company as compared to 10% from 10,000 companies, and 10% equating to 8,000 jobs on average from each company. So you're looking at going from 80,000 job losses, 8,000 job losses to 80,000 job losses to 800,000 job losses to 8 million, right? We could be seeing numbers like this, you know, going up. We could be seeing big numbers like that occurring within the next, let's say, 1 to 3 years. And that'll be the major story going forward. And the story of Spirit Airline, it'll be one that people will reflect back on and say, well, you remember when that first big shift happened? You remember a couple of years ago when Spirit Airline, a company that's been in business for over 30 years, they couldn't take what was going on in the world and the changes, and they had to fold. Now, look where we are. Now, check this out: industry shift. Companies are restructuring workforces to prioritize AI, balancing automation, operational costs, and the need to stay competitive. The name of the game now is competition. It's always been competition, right? Just like in your online business. You're in competition with all of the people that's in your industry. No, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. You're in competition with all of the people that's in your particular industry. And that's part of another reason why I'm so proud of my masterclass, because my masterclass teaches you about how to separate yourself and how to put yourself in a whole other category that's less competitive. See, now the traditional way of doing affiliate marketing, for example, is that there's people that join opportunities and they allow the person in control of the opportunity to control the opportunity, to tell them what it is that they can do, what it is that they should do, and to give them a narrow lens of looking at things. Now, if we start a business opportunity and let's say we start a business opportunity and our product is bags of dirt. And I'm telling you, we're gonna sell these bags of dirt and it's just gonna be for this one particular thing. This is the best way to sell these bags of dirt, right? We're gonna sell them to, you know, homeowners that want to have dirt in their yard. Then I start telling everybody that's involved in our opportunity, all the 100 or, you know, if I'm really that great and I'm really that good, thousands, tens of thousands of people in our industry, in our particular opportunity, if I'm telling all 10,000 plus of these people that their target audience is homeowners that want dirt in their yard, then that makes it 10,000 people competing for the same opportunity. But if I give you an idea and I give you a tool and I give you a product that says, hey, here's dirt, but there's 100+ opportunities that you can turn or that you can create from selling this dirt. We have homeowners, we have construction workers, we have people that might want to turn that dirt into mud and turn them into forms of brick. We might have people that want to turn those bricks into wall plaques, for art. We might find a way or come up with some ideas of turning dirt into world class art. And then have a group of people that just focuses on that, and another group that focuses on using the dirt to build something else, and so on and so forth. So that now those 10,000 people, there's 100 different opportunities, right? So now it's still a little competition, but instead of there being 10,000 people for you to compete with, now there's only 100 people. That makes the competition a little bit easier, right? Now we can start focusing on, hey, you focus over on that town, that state, that country. See, nobody ever talks to you about that. Focusing on locations as compared to just focusing on an opportunity. But that's something for, another training. Once when you really get serious about this industry and being an expert and, doing this the way that it should be done, then you'll find that being in competition with someone else, you can do that, but you can also carve your own lane. So that's part of what a master class teaches you how to do. And why I feel as though anybody who wants to build something of their own and not want to rely on living someone else's dream, if you want to have something of your own, if you want to have a better chance of avoiding certain tragedies, you might want to get access to that masterclass. And you might be able to avoid being part of these workforce layoffs. These things that are designed to help companies maximize their, profits. These companies are prioritizing AI over human beings. That's a fact. There is no loyalty. And there's no loyalty when it comes to, business, when it comes to profits and losses, when it comes to corporations versus employees. There is no loyalty. So you have to make the best decisions for yourself. So with that, I hope you guys have gotten some light bulb moments. Hopefully you've been inspired, you've been motivated, you've gotten your edutainment for today, and you are making a decision on Take Your Heart Back Monday, right? Today is Take Your Heart Back Monday, right? So hopefully you're deciding to take your heart back and stop doing all that talking and start becoming a builder. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed. We're going to close out. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow in tomorrow's live. And of course, tomorrow we have a live training that's going to be held by one of my business partners, Mr. Wayne Crow. And we'll talk about that tomorrow so that you guys, be able to get the additional information that you need in order to build the right way. So with that, we'll fade to the back and I'll see you in the next video.
Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first. But in silence, even whispers can quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. Till my PayPal pinged and they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spin like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle Blueberry on loop like healing chance. For the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, it's a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type. Blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar